안녕하세요, and welcome to Korea Decoded. Hi, Colleen. Good
Hi,
morning.
how are you?
I am good, thank you. I see you are holding a mug. Are you by any chance a coffee drinker?
I am most definitely a coffee drinker with a straw. Do you
Oh,
know why I drink hot coffee with a straw?
is it anti-wrinkle? I don't know.
Good question. No, because I've had my teeth whitened,
Ah,
as we
yes,
do
I
in
heard that's
Korea,
the truth.
right?
Yeah, right.
And
I should
so,
do that.
yeah, and so the that helps. I've been told I love coffee. I wasn't really willing to give it up, so I decided to go with a straw because that way it doesn't stay in your mouth for that long.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
excellent,
the whole idea.
excellent.
Yeah.
A good habit, yes. Anything but giving up coffee. I'm with you on that one.
Yes. And so coffee in Korea is just another world, right?
Absolutely. And not to, I didn't expect that when I first came to Korea. But was coffee such a big thing when you first arrived in Korea?
No, and I was so sad. I was so sad. So it was like in the late 90s, I arrived and there was no coffee. The only place you could get coffee was McDonald's, and there was just
Right.
one McDonald's, and there was definitely no, I don't think they were open 24 hours. And there was no drive-through. That did not
Right.
exist. And you
Okay.
could just get a black coffee. And then there were these, you could drive out into the countryside to what they called coffee shops.
Right.
And they would give, it would be very elegant and very pretty out in the countryside with lovely, very pretty cups. It was more of the ambiance kind of thing. And they would give you
Yeah.
this beautiful, porcelain cup with just a little splash of coffee in there. And
Yeah.
that's it. And it would be well, it would be quite a bit actually if it was 4,000 won or something. At that time, that's a lot for a little splash of coffee. And then when I
Yes.
would ask for a refill, they were very confused.
Right. Yeah. That
And
might only
then
be.
in the later 2000s, Dunkin' Donuts came to Korea and
Ah,
they had coffee and they had free refills.
excellent.
So that was the only place you could get coffee was McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, and you could get it at a place called Outbacks and
Right.
TGIF. But other than that, and nobody would have it at their home. All they had was coffee mix,
Yes.
which
Yes.
I always called camping coffee because that's the kind of thing we would take camping with us when we went and when we went camping in Canada was that quick, easy mix, right? With all that sugar and as they call in Korea, krima, that cream, right?
Yes, exactly. When we first moved in Busan, we would notice the husband's going to work in the morning, and at the front of the compound would be one of those chadong panmekis, those coffee vending machines, and
Yes,
there'd be a queue of businessmen wearing a suit lining up with coins in their hand. And I think at the time it was 300 won for a paper
exactly.
cup of yeah coffee mix, basically.
Yes.
And so my mom wondered, does nobody have a coffee machine in their
Yeah,
kitchen?
nobody had a coffee
Mm.
machine. I finally got a hold of a French press, but then getting
Yeah.
the coffee beans was hard. So yeah, yeah.
And today, what is your
And
coffee
today we
situation
fast forward
today?
to today, and well, I remember when the very first Starbucks came to Korea, and it was in Myeongdong, and it
Right.
was considered really big because it was like 3 stories. I think it was the biggest coffee shop. It might even have been the biggest coffee shop that Starbucks had overseas at the time. And
Could be.
it was very, very popular. And then I remember in my city, because that was, not, I didn't live in Seoul at the time, there was a place, a very entrepreneurial guy, built a huge coffee shop and he had started off, I think he'd paid for the franchise, Starbucks franchise, and then he canceled it, but he had all this stuff. So he
Oh,
had all the signs, he had all the tables, everything looked like a Starbucks, but it wasn't a Starbucks. It was called New York Coffee. And that's when it took off with is that all these kind of imitation Starbucks places opened
yeah,
up. And
yeah.
then I think it was I'm not entirely sure who was the Shinsegae or the Samsung, some of the daughters, some of the the females within the group, I'm sorry to say, got involved
Oh,
in the coffee industry and we ended up with Angels and Us and to some place, I think.
yeah.
And those are the big chains. But now Korea has these places like, I don't know, sheep coffee shops, sheep cafes, cat cafes. Um, what is it? Raccoon Cafe. Did you ever go to one of those?
No, I've
No?
I've only heard of them. I I don't know, the cleanliness or the anticipated smells just kept me away.
Yes. You're right. I went to a parrot cafe. There were birds
Oh,
flying everywhere, and they would bring little birds to your table if you wanted to have a jam, an
yeah.
experience.
Oh, bless them. Yes. And how was the coffee
And
then?
better, better. Yeah. And now they've, obviously branched out from just black coffee and they have all kinds of coffees. And then there's something really interesting. Koreans, they've got an expression for it. It's called ah,
Yes.
iced coffee lovers, right? And Koreans tell me that they love having iced coffee winter, spring, summer, doesn't matter, fall, any season they'll have it, even when it's cold out with ice.
Yes, exactly. Then the expression came oljuga, right?
Oljuga, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And what does that mean for those who don't know?
it means even if I would freeze to death, I still choose iced Americano.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nuts.
Where,
The
do
other
you know
thing I've
where that
seen,
came from though?
I don't know. I'll have to ask my son. He told me about it. The other thing I've seen recently is little kids having coffee.
Oh no.
Lots and lots of parents are giving their kids coffee, and you can see elementary school students, high schoolers going to mega coffee and having coffee or yeah, it's really
Oh,
trickled down to everybody.
oh, to stay awake and study. Do
I
they
think
know it
so.
stunts their growth? I mean, we should tell them. They're so obsessed with being tall. We should tell
Yes.
them it stunts their growth. Oh, bless them. Yeah. What, I mean, I loved the cafes, but what surprised me was I couldn't find any place that served decaf. So I love coffee all
Very
hours of the day,
true.
but after 6 p.m., I switch to decaf because otherwise I
Yeah.
can't sleep.
I've only
And
seen that
yeah.
at Adia on the menu.
Yeah, that was one of the later places.
Yeah.
So first it was only Starbucks that had it, and then you could still choose whatever drink you wanted, but with
Yeah.
decaffeine beans. And then McDonald's had it as well. Edea and all the other places had it, but it was like a pre-mixed drink, and then it was just iced decaf, and it still tasted like instant coffee.
Ew.
So I wasn't
Yeah.
a fan. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty
and
nuts how much it's taken off. And the
yeah,
sizes have changed. That was the other thing that surprised me. Coming from North America,
yeah.
where I don't know if you've heard, everything is big. For Americans,
Right.
that's a small, the drinks are huge, right? So when
I
I arrived in
heard.
Korea and they were giving me these little tiny cups, and even in the cup it was a quarter full, I was really missing the big sizes, right? But now
Yeah.
they're not as big as they are in America or Canada, but they're still very big.
Yeah, I still think in Belgium we don't serve that big coffees either. It's more of
Oh,
a like an espresso size, a
hmm.
small a teacup, not really a mug,
Yes,
but a teacup.
yes, yes.
Um, yeah, and then in the early days, and if you did visit somebody at home and they would make you coffee, it would be Wondu coffees are made with beans, but very
Yeah.
watered
What's
down.
Wandu
It was
coffee? Wandu coffee is drip coffee, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes. So with
yeah,
the percolator,
yeah.
and it was very watered down. It looked like tea, and I
Yes,
don't think like, do they not know the exact amount to put in their coffee machine?
yeah.
Yeah. So and then a lot of restaurants would have hazelnut coffee. I like that. I
Oh,
appreciated that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But I
very
noticed
aromatic.
the smell was better than the taste.
Ah,
It
yes,
smelled really good, but it
that's
never
true.
tasted
Yes.
like
Mm.
hazelnut coffee or anything
Yeah.
special like that. But there was something I was going to say to you, and I just popped off. It was on the tip of my tongue about coffee here. What was it? Um, can't remember. was it? Oh yes, there's a Harry Potter cafe here, which is pretty cool.
I've
To all the
heard of it
Harry
not
Potter
being.
fans, yeah,
Yeah,
it was really good. And that's the other thing, all these theme cafes. People seem to love these theme cafes.
yeah. They're very, I think for a cafe, because I mean the competition is insane if
It
you open a
is.
cafe in Korea, and
Yes,
still many people said my dream is to open a cafe.
I know. Yeah.
I that market is so saturated, but I think the only way to succeed is to have either an Instagrammable theme or a photo zone
Yes.
within your cafe. You need to have a wall with a mirror or fake
Yes.
flowers or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's that one cafe I really want to go. There's two actually I really want to go to. Is one is an optical illusion cafe,
yeah.
you know, where you maybe the building is a little bit slanted, so it looks like it's like an Alice in Wonderland type of
Right.
illusionary cafe. And then the other one is this it's all black and white, so you look like you're in. Do you remember that video Aha did?
Yes, yeah. I think is it
Black and
called
white. It's like
Korean
you're in a
Cafe?
cartoon.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Well,
Korean
this is
Cafe.
just like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all black and white, and it's great, very Instagrammable. It looks as though you're in a cartoon, but you're the only color
yeah.
character.
I had my map was color coded, and so cafes for me had a blue heart. So every time I had an address or I heard of one, I would pin it on my map. So I would always,
Hmm.
wherever city I visited, I would at least have at least one Instagrammable cafe to visit. Um,
Yes.
what I appreciated so much was the Hanok cafes, where you're
Hmm.
just, I mean, I love the Hanok houses and the architecture. So I would always look for those. And sometimes they're very, surprisingly in the middle of nowhere in the countryside, you seem to find
Yes.
a
I was
very
just going to say that
spacious.
to you.
Yeah,
A lot of these coffee shops are way out in the middle of nowhere. It's like somebody inherited some land, leveraged got some equity on the land, put up a huge some, the more modern ones, put up
yeah,
a huge building and called it a coffee shop. And I don't know how they make money, but
yeah,
Koreans are willing to drive for hours to go to a special kind of coffee shop. And
yeah,
yes, the
for sure.
Hanok places are beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
Instagrammable for sure.
yeah. And what do you think of the cakes that are served at these cafes or the croissants?
Hmm. I think everything is so expensive. All the
Yeah,
bread, all the breads and pastries, they're super expensive, outrageous. I saw an article on it the other day. People are asking, why is bread so expensive here? I don't know. Like $5 for a croissant or something. I don't know. Not that high,
yeah.
but it's insane. But how do I feel about the taste? Never sweet enough.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think because the flour in Korea is different, I think either they import the ingredients and maybe
From
that would
Canada.
explain. Oh, did I? Well,
Yes,
that would explain the high prices.
maybe.
Imported butter. Um, yeah, either that or just yeah, that would they're very appealing, and there's definitely an evolution in the pastries and the
Yes,
cakes, but in early days it was very much yes, it was Instagrammable, so it looked beautiful, and they were tiny and they were colored and
yes.
just like in the magazine.
But they had no
But
taste.
yes,
There was
yeah, they
no
didn't taste
taste.
quite right.
They didn't taste, they didn't have a taste. They were not quite discernible. There and there was sugar on bread that there is sugar on bread that where there shouldn't be bread, like garlic toast. Not that I have garlic toast with my coffee normally, but why is there sugar
Yes,
on garlic toast?
yeah.
Garlic bread, sorry. Yeah.
The two things expats say that they get addicted to when they come to Korea, even if they
Mm.
weren't before they
Hmm.
arrived, was caffeine addiction and sugar addiction. And I believe that.
Yes.
Yeah, those are two
Yes.
traps that you fall into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
remember you were asking about the cakes, and I remember coming to Korea and really I love chocolate, craving something very sweet in the early, late 90s. And I would buy a cake. Cakes are so expensive here, $50 for a cake. And it was dry and it wasn't tasty. It wasn't rich at all. And there was maybe that was because the butter cost. the sweetest thing I could find was chapsaldok.
Oh,
Do you know what that is?
yes, yes, yes,
Those
yes,
little white,
yeah.
little
Glutinous rice
glutinous
cakes,
rice
yeah, with
cakes
the red bean.
with red bean inside. Very sweet. And that would satiate me. That would give me enough.
Yeah,
But that was it. Now you can find almost European style cakes that are soft and juicy and moussey, but otherwise
yeah,
their Korean cakes are generally very, very soft, very dry. And
yeah,
cookies, oh my God, so dry. Crumble and just get a bunch of flakes on your table.
yeah. Yeah. The Me Too, we would call them the Me Too sangpums. So we'd have this, the French butter waffles or galettes, and then yeah, Lotte would have like a similar thing, and
Mhm.
it was just like, yeah, nice try. It looks good. It looks the same. It's just the things that you can't capture from a magazine is where it
Yes.
would go wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if there's, I always, because Korea is such a paternalistic society. I wonder if maybe the government has told these companies to not put too much sugar in things or too much butter because of the obesity problem that has occurred over the years.
Has it become that? Because I thought Korea still has a lot of sugar in items where in other countries they wouldn't put sugar in, like you
Yes.
said, on garlic bread or
Yes.
all those sugary drinks at all those cafes. There's
Yes. I don't
um,
know.
yeah, black coffee is the only one without sugar in it, really.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Yeah.
so
I
do you
don't
think
know.
obesity has become a problem, or
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
what they don't told us in the beginning is that whatever country would have experienced a war and famine, it
Hmm.
takes 2 generations for the body to react normally. And so when we
Hmm.
first came to Korea, we noticed that people eat a lot, and we'd go for lunch, and then we'd go for dessert, and then afternoon
Yes.
coffee and cake, and these
Yes.
women would still be, very thin and slim, and
Yes.
and we're like, if I would eat like you eat, I'd weigh 100 by the end of the month,
Yeah.
and they don't. So I think
That's fascinating. I'd
maybe
never heard that before.
I think this generation is finally catching up to that because they've now grown accustomed to all those American chains. I mean, let's
Hmm.
admit there's American chains don't work in Belgium, so we really don't have that many.
Mm.
But
Oh,
in
yeah,
Korea,
that's
you've got
true.
all of them, right? I think
Yes. Yeah.
wasn't the first one Baskin Robbins? I think that's usually like the early entry in all the
Yes.
Asian countries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then all the sugary drinks at
Hmm.
Starbucks, and then the local copies of everything.
Yeah,
So
you're
I think
right.
there's,
You were talking about this period in Korea where Western food was considered a snack because
yeah,
they still had to have their morning,
meal.
lunch, and dinner Korean meal,
Yes. Yeah.
right? But now that people are living alone, they are some people are preferring Western style food, not and they're having less Korean food, and there's less home cooking, more ordering. That's the other thing. That's another reason why
Yeah.
the Western food is no longer a snack, it's now part of their main
Meal,
meal.
yeah. And not always the healthiest options. I mean,
Hmm.
I eat Western food, but that doesn't mean I eat pasta and pizza. I haven't eaten pizza in 5 years, but
Right.
Koreans think
Koreans
of
eat,
Western
now
food. Yeah.
we're off on pizza. When I first arrived, and people would say, "Do you eat pizza?" People would ask me if I ate pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I thought, no, I very rarely eat pizza. But
Yeah.
pizza's American, and you're American. No, I'm Canadian, but anyhow, I still think Canadians eat better than Americans, but in general. But Korea is a country that has taken pizza to the next level.
I've heard,
Amazing.
yeah. Yeah. I think
Pizza
the
and
most pizza
fried
I've eaten.
chicken.
We
Yeah.
we need to do another episode on fried chicken.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
say probably like you were just about to say, the most pizza you've ever eaten in your life was in Korea.
Yes, yes. With rice dough and imshil cheese filling and sweet potato and all these options that wouldn't even exist in Europe.
Right. And
Yeah.
corn and peas and
I draw the
yeah,
line
sweet
at the
potato.
pickles. I
Get the
don't
pickles.
The little box of pickles that comes with it, or the radish kimchi. Yeah, no, I don't.
I think we talked about this another episode, but I remember getting a phone call. I was in Korea, as I still am. I getting a phone call from a friend who was in Canada,
Yeah.
and she was really angry. She was at Pizza Hut in Canada, and we have Pizza Hut here in Korea. I think it's kind of died down. I don't see very many Pizza Huts anymore. But she was at Pizza Hut in Canada, and she was saying to me, talk to the server, because she couldn't speak English very well. Talk to the server.
Mm.
I think these people don't want to give us pickles because they're racist. And I said, I don't need to talk to the lady.
Mm.
There are no pickles in Canada
Mm.
at the
Yeah.
pizza, at any place that has pizza.
Mm. Yeah. And it's funny how they've added their own element of all the foods need to be balanced with a counter a taste or
Yes,
sense, right? Yeah.
yes. And always
Yeah.
something pickled,
Yes. Right. The
which is
jajangmyeon
good for
comes
you.
with the radish.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. Does it does it is it just to alternate your taste palette, or is it to digest all the grease? I don't know,
I
but
don't
it
know.
yeah.
So if you were in Korea, what would be your go-to coffee drink?
Oh, I've been
If you're at a
down that road.
cafe.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, I would really have to put my foot down and stick to Americano. It was always ta'a, right? Hot Americano.
Yes.
So rather than ice Americano all year long, I drink hot coffee all year long.
Uh-huh. That's
Uh,
I'm so glad I asked. That's what was on the tip of my tongue. I was going to ask you, where in the world did this Americano come from? Because, I'm Canadian.
yes.
And I've traveled, and I had never heard of the expression Americano until I came to Korea. Never in my life. We don't use it.
Right. Yeah, we don't use it either. In Europe, it's just well, we only have one version, and it's just coffee. It's coffee or
Mm.
decaf or cappuccino. That's all we have.
But
Um,
apparently, it's something that didn't just originate in Korea. I was surprised. And recently, when I went back to Canada, because of the Donald Trump tariffs and stuff, people are calling it Canadiano.
excellent.
I don't want to order an Americano. Too funny.
Yeah, but I thought it was an American thing because I had only heard that,
Yeah,
like you said, in Korea at Starbucks. So I thought
that's.
it's a Starbucks thing. So
I
it
thought
must
so
be
too.
American.
It's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We would go for lungo, which would be like the equivalent, which just means like a bigger coffee. I think
Yes.
that's the Nespresso brand probably came up with that. But yeah, we don't water down our drinks. So I think the whole concept of getting an espresso and then adding water to
Mm,
it, I'm sure Italians would be swearing at this point, saying,
yes.
you're defeating the purpose of the espresso.
Well, the
Um,
watering down thing, that's really interesting. You can tell me your perspective. I remember a French friend came to Canada and she said, "Oh, you Canadians, you drink dirty water."
right.
To her, it was just like that watered down coffee. And then I came to Korea and I had the same. I thought our coffee in Canada is really strong. Here in Korea, it's just watered down. And I think
Yeah.
it's all relative to what you are familiar with. So for you as a European, where would you say Belgian to who, who would say that Belgian coffee is watered down? Would it be the Italians
Probably, yeah, the Italians and the French. The
and
French
the
really
French?
drink their strong
Yeah.
coffees. And yeah. I don't mind watered down coffee. My grandma would always like add hot water to her coffee.
Hmm.
And so I'm more of a quantity over quality person. So
Hmm.
whatever's more coffee. So what I would doing in Starbucks, and I was always very grateful for that. If in Europe you wanted extra water, they will say, oh, for that you need to order a tea and then don't use the tea bag or do whatever you want with it. But we can't just give you a cup of hot water. Whereas in Korea, they kind of understand that you've justified paying $6 for just one mug of coffee.
Right.
And then um, if it would go cold halfway, I would go back. I'm like, can you fill it up with some hot water? And they'd
Mm,
never question it. They would always do
mm,
that. And so I
yeah.
was always so I feel like I have one and a half coffees because I
Yes.
fill it up with hot water again.
And
Um,
hey, I really like my go-to is the cafe mocha. I love cafe mocha. I mean,
yeah, they
basically, it's
are
just
good.
sweet. As I told you, I like chocolate. and with whipped cream on top. And sometimes they say to me, I'm
Oh,
sorry, at our coffee shop, we don't have whipped cream. But I have heard people complain about the whipped cream here, that
yes.
it's
It's
something,
not whipped.
it's,
Yeah, I,
I don't,
I wanted to make that comment when you were talking about the cakes. I'm like, yeah, the whipped cream on the cakes is an issue as well.
what is it?
It's just chalk coming out of a spray can. It's not, yeah,
Chalk.
it's not yeah, I don't know what ingredient is missing, but it's not what it should be.
Again, it looks pretty and it has
Yes,
lasting power. It stays up.
I'm sure it does.
I don't think it's something you want to have in your body, though.
Right? Yeah, I feel like there's no vanilla in there. There's no egg whites in there. I don't know. It looks too
Right.
white to be edible.
Yes. Chalk
It's
is a
just
good
yeah.
description.
Yeah. So and maybe that would explain a lot. So when my mom would make homemade waffles,
Hmm.
and in order to make the Brussels recipe of waffles, you would need sparkling water. And in the early
Say
2000s
that again. To make the Brussels
waffles, you would
waffles, you need
need sparkling
sparkling
water.
water. Did not know
It's
that. Okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
so in the early 2000s, they didn't have sparkling water at the supermarkets yet.
Hmm.
So my father worked at the hotel, and my mom would always have to ask, "Can you bring a bottle of Perrier sparkling water from the hotel? Because
Ah,
I'll be making waffles this weekend." And so I noticed that, and that I think also the sugary drinks ties into that. They don't just sell sparkling water as an option. It's
mhm.
cider or Coke or just
Right.
tap water.
True, true, true.
Um, and in Europe, if you order water, that's the first question, still or sparkling.
That's right. Yeah. A Korean would wonder,
Um,
still water? What's that?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
But it is
versatile
nice
as
that
well.
they always give you free water here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Other
do
places you have
appreciate
to
that.
pay
Yeah.
for it. It has to be in a plastic
Yeah.
bottle. This is very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
And
were
the
talking
tradition,
about the sparkling water. Sorry to interrupt you. The sparkling water, I bet you didn't know that actually where I live is in Cheongju.
yes,
Cheongju has its own, well, there's an area around Cheongju that has its own sparkling water. And
from the
it's
source.
from the source, yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's Chojang Yaksu, and you can see it now. They've gone Chojang. It is sparkling
Yeah.
water. They've added sugar to it though. But people would drive there and line
Mm.
up and get this natural springs water. And it was just like, I think in the world there's only three places that actually have natural springs. Um,
Mm.
uh, the French, what, Evian, Evian,
Yes.
and then of course here in Chojang, and then another place. But I remember when I would go to Seoul, because I loved this sparkling water because there was no sugar and it was just pure mineral water. And I would ask them in Seoul if they had this Jojongyaksu, and they had no idea what I was talking about. It was
Right.
they hadn't started sending it out to other parts. It was in one of those glass bottles, just like in the Coke glass bottles. So probably you didn't get
Right.
that in Busan or
Yeah,
didn't know about
no,
it,
no. Yeah, no,
but it
especially
did
not
exist. Your mom could have bought it much cheaper.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But I'm happy to see it now. So now
Yes.
you've got all types of brands selling sparkling water in the supermarket. So
Yeah, but you've brought
yeah,
up another point, the fact that even now, if an expat, if a person from another country, or even if a Korean wants to make something different, they cannot just go to one supermarket and get everything they need. If you want to make
right.
lasagna, for example, we need to order this
Yeah,
from Costco and this from Coupang, and then this may possible substitute from Home Plus, for example.
right. That's true. Yes.
So,
I think
yeah.
we've all done the supermarket run to find a certain one
Mm,
ingredient. I remember looking for white vinegar, just normal vinegar,
yes,
and yeah, I did all the brands, I did all the
yes.
supermarkets. Yeah, and finally they told me try internet.
All right. And my husband is Russian, and there's involves a lot of dill, and he doesn't
Yes,
want we don't want dry dill, we want fresh dill.
for
So
still, right?
that has taken a while. So we found a couple of supermarkets that sell dill, fresh dill, and then I did order it on the internet. Came in a big box, little bit of dill in the
Lots
box,
of plastic wrap, right?
lots of plastic wrap, and little bit of dill. But yeah.
Yeah.
Korea has changed a lot, and it's come a long way, and it is much more convenient than it was before. But it still
Absolutely.
requires a stretch of the imagination,
Yeah.
patience, belief that even though it looks familiar, it's not going to be exactly the same, and it requires creativity if you want to get a taste from home.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Patience and but know that we live in a day and age where everything is accessible,
Yes,
shippable,
yes,
budgets might differ, but
yes,
you can get a hold of it. It's a lot
that's
easier
right.
than back in the
Yeah,
day. That's
yeah,
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm gonna sign off and say goodbye, drink my coffee in
Finish your
my,
coffee, Colleen.
you can barely see it. It's old, it's an imitation Starbucks mug that I was given, and over the
Brilliant.
years it's kind of washed off with use. But it was yeah, an imitation Starbucks mug.
I cherish my soul Starbucks mug as well. Yes,
Oh,
I cherish
oh,
that one.
oh, nice, nice, nice. Very nice. All right, I'll talk to you again. Thank you,
Take
everybody,
care,
for
Colleen.
listening. Bye.
Bye.